Welcome back to Autism Live. We're very thrilled and honored for the first time on the show. We have up-and-coming YouTube star Kenny Valdivia. And Kenny, we just can't wait to know everything about you. We've been sitting here chomping at the bit, waiting to be on camera so we could ask you. Tell us all about you.
My name is Kenny Valdivia. I was born and raised right here in the San Fernando Valley. I was born August 14th, 1995, Valley Presbyterian Hospital in Van Nuys. My whole life, it's been a big misunderstanding being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, growing up, going from school to school, trying to fit in with people, being in the special ed classes, especially being that I'm higher functioning on the spectrum. I didn't feel like I belonged in those classes. It's like, okay, what am I doing here? Mom, why can't I be in the other classes with the other kids? So like, for example, at lunch and recess, I would try to fit in with them, and yeah, they just didn't understand me, and that's where all hell broke loose, and I just, my whole life just trying to figure out like what's going on.
Where your place in the world is.
Yes, exactly.
Right. How old were you when you were diagnosed with autism?
An infant. I have no idea, maybe 3 or 5.
And what age did somebody say that word to you, autism, in connection with yourself? Like, at what point were you that you realized, oh, that's what I've been labeled, for lack of a better word?
Maybe like 10 or 11.
Okay.
Being that I was in the special ed classes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you say this is a misunderstanding. And
yes.
What do you mean by that? Do you still identify yourself as being somebody who's on the spectrum? Do you think you are?
I feel like that, yes. Because, for example, like when it comes to like public places, say parties or just like any public scenario, I would try to converse with people, and like I just have a tendency of going off tangents. Say if I'm not interested in what's going on or what the topic is, I just blank out easily. I just lose interest easily if something's just not interested, and I just want to make it all about what I want to talk about, and just people just look at me like, oh, that's odd, especially with people of the opposite sex. Like, they just can't read me at all, and
And that's a little frustrating, right?
Exactly.
More than a little frustrating. But now, how old are you now?
I'm currently 23 years old.
And you decided that you wanted to do something on YouTube. How did the idea come about? How did that all get started?
Well, the idea all came started because, like, for years, like, I was trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, because I went to public school through middle school, and then for the rest of my schooling years, middle of 8th grade to 12th grade, I went to this school called the Help Group, located in the Sherman Oaks section of the San Fernando Valley. And I felt like it was a better fit for me. In smaller school, there were kids exactly like myself. I was able to make friends better, but at the same time, I still felt a little out of place because it still had that like clique vibe and whatnot, especially at lunch and stuff. Like, I was like the anime kids and whatnot. I'm not a big anime guy, but just, yeah, it was a better fit. I didn't have as many problems as I did in public school, and it helped ease burden upon myself.
But then you were done with school, and facing this gap. How did you get from there to, I'm going to start a YouTube channel?
Well, okay, after I graduated from high school, I decided to take some community college at my local college in Mission College, located in the Sylmar section of the valley. I thought I wanted to do like animation, VFX kind of work, and college was just very stressful for me, dealing with student loans, financial aid, signing up for classes. It just took a huge toll on me. Then for a time being, I went to this vocational school called Exceptional Minds, which is located in the Sherman Oaks area as well.
We're very familiar
We're
with
very familiar with Exceptional Minds. In fact, I was going to recommend it to you based on whatever, but you went there for a while, so it didn't sound like it was a good fit for you.
Yeah, I tried to go into Exceptional Minds. I thought I wanted to be an animator or a VFX guy, but the work was just like too overbearing on me. Just like the computer stuff was just like, and just, yeah, I mean, I had a good time, because I got to meet a lot of friends with common interests, like my love for animation, my love for movies. Yeah, I was able to make a lot of friends there, and I don't regret any moment of going to that school.
But it's not right for everyone. It's a very technical thing, doing that work, so it wasn't right for you. So then you thought, I'm just going to branch out and start my own YouTube channel?
Yeah, but after that, I so when I found out that Exceptional Minds wasn't what I wanted to do, I was recommended by the program director there to try out this program at Glendale Community College called Uniquely Abled, where they train you to be a CNC machine operator.
Right.
So I ended up doing that. It was fall of 2017, and I ended up graduating from the program. For a while, I was able to get a job in it, but the twist was it was only a 6-week trial to see if I was a fit for them, and I wasn't getting paid through them. I was getting paid through the Department of Rehab, and I was on their payroll. I was on the company's payroll, so they let me go. I tried finding other jobs in that field. No one would take me, and then all of a sudden I just decided, okay, maybe my fate is not to be a machinist. I feel like and I don't want to go back to college because I just was very misunderstood there, and I think I don't need college to be successful. I can think of so many people that didn't go to college, let alone dropped out, who are very successful. Mark Zuckerberg being one of them, who dropped out from a very huge school. And I just can't see myself going back to college, and I feel like I'm not a mistake. I was made the way I was made to help others around, especially I want my channel to expand to all the other continents, being that I've never left North America. It's one of my dreams to travel to other continents, places like Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, and places in Europe like England and Italy and Spain. I would love for my channel to grow. This way I can meet people on the spectrum in different continents.
So tell us about your channel and how it started.
My channel started, it was back in earlier this year of 2019, because for a long time I was hesitant on sharing with people about my diagnosis, because after I graduated high school, for once in my life, I wanted to be seen as a regular kid. For example, like my non-autistic friends, and for example, people at church and people that didn't know about me. As of last year, my parents encouraged me, like, hey, try telling them about yourself, like, come out. So I was like role play with them, and after a while, I like get it in my head, okay, and I would tell various people via email or sometimes in person. Like I would pull them aside, and they applauded me for that, thanking me for telling them, and that now that they have a better way of helping me out whenever they feel.
So on the show, you talk about yourself and you talk about your hopes and your dreams and the things that you want to do, but you also interview other people on the spectrum. How do you find your guests?
Well, I find my guests, some of my guests I've featured have been some people from Exceptional Minds and another person from that Glendale Community College program, and also some old friends from my childhood who are also on the spectrum. And one of them, I had no idea who he was. His name was Jonathan Mitchell. He actually reached out to me. He was inspired by my videos. He said, he reached out to me via email saying, hey, I've seen some of your videos. I'm in my 60s. My whole life, I have so many stories I would like to tell you. I would love to meet you in person and be interviewed by you and featured on your channel. I'm like, hey, that really touched me right there.
Well, I think you're going to see more of that. Nancy, do you remember when we had Jonathan on the show?
Yes.
He's we have a mutual friend of Christina Adams is friends with Jonathan, and he's an author, and we had him on the show. And he has a very unique point of view about being on the autism spectrum that I'm sure he had a good time expressing on your show. And as does everybody. I think everybody that I've met on the spectrum has a unique perspective on being on the spectrum. But I think you're going to get more of that, people reaching out to you and saying, hey, I'd like to be interviewed by you. Hey, I want to be on your show. And it sounds like that's something that you really enjoyed.
Yes, because like I said, for a living, like I just can't see myself going back to college. Like I just decided, like, okay, I don't want to be a paramedic or anything. I feel like I was put on earth to help out with autism.
So your goal then is to take this YouTube channel and turn it into something that is a job for you that has a paycheck that comes with it.
Yes.
And are you looking at, because that's, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to make a living off of YouTube. Are you looking at different classes on how to do that, or because sometimes they have They have workshops in that. They have a conference coming up in exactly that kind of thing. Are you interested in doing that, or are you going to figure it out for yourself?
Oh, it's a little 50-50, but
I like that.
yeah, like I said, I would love for my channel to expand to all 7 continents, and I would love for people to reach out to me. This way I can go to different parts of this world, because I always enjoy conquering new land.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how can people find your channel.
Well, people can find my channel, just type in Kenny Valdivia Autism, and then it'll come up instantly.
Okay.
And how many videos do you think you have right now on your channel?
I am almost at 30 videos. I don't just interview people with autism, but on it I go very into depth with personal stories, as well as some of my dreams and my desires, and those being that I've always used entertainment as a means of an escape to ease burden upon myself, to help me get through some of the roughest moments in my life. For example, like disputes with my parents, disputes with peers, just all the bullying I suffered growing up, and just, yeah, very...
Talking about it helps you to get through it.
Yes, and I would love, my dreams come true, people that I've looked up to. For example, Usher, his music has always been an escape for me. The first time I ever heard him was when he released this album called Confessions back in 2004. My aunt had bought his CD, and every time I hung out with her, we would always play the song. Yeah, I would always play it on repeat, and it was just like a breath of fresh air. And ever since then, I listened to all of his prior stuff and all of his stuff after Confessions. I've just been so hooked on him since, and it would be a dream come true for him to see this and for him to reach out to me. I've always wanted to meet him, as well as like other artists and producers, being their names like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, people from Green Day. I just love music.
There's a theme here. You people, rappers and musicians that
yes.
you're. So that could be a very exciting thing. Do you have the ability yet on your show to Skype somebody in so that you can be there in your studio and then somebody can, or do they have to be there in person?
I mean, it would be a dream come true if like they reached out to me like via email or phone call saying like, oh hey, I would love to meet you in person, and yeah, then they can come to me and I can meet them. And
we'll put that out into the universe.
I think you're going to have a lot of interesting guests coming up in the future.
Yes, also other shout-outs I want to give to Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Will.I.Am of the Black Eyed Peas, Green Day, The Offspring, Metallica. Thank you guys. All of your guys' music. Mariah Carey, thank you. Al Green, Stevie Wonder. I can go on forever,
got quite
guys.
a list of people that you admire.
But I think it's good to have that list. We sit down sometimes and we'll say, who do we want to be on the show? And we make a wish list of like, who would be amazing, knowing that may not happen, but we write it down. The other day I made a new one of these lists, and of course Oprah is always on my list, but guess who else? We've talked about this before. I'd really like Michelle Obama. I would like Michelle Obama to come on the show. I would too. Right? So but sometimes it works out. We've been able to have some of the people that we really wanted to have on.
We never thought we would have.
Right, so put it on your list and put it out into the universe, and you never know what can happen.
Exactly.
You're an amazing young man.
You are. And you've made a lot happen so far, and I'm sure there's a lot more that's going to be in your future.
Yes, there is a fun fact. I did get to meet Ben Affleck. He visited Exceptional Minds. He was researching a role called The Accountant, where he played an accountant with Asperger's.
Very
and you got to meet him.
I made a video about that on my channel as well.
Okay,
there
great.
You go. And so did you have the opportunity, was he observing all of you while he was getting ready for the role?
He was.
There you go. So maybe there's a piece of you in that portrayal of the accountant.
Yes, and not just music, but acting in movies has always been another escape of mine, because I just love how I can pretend to be someone I'm not and just help ease burden upon myself. Action movies, even old westerns. I'm just a huge movie fanatic. You can ask me anything about movies. People that inspire me. Matt Damon, wherever you are, please, I hope you see this, because it would be a dream come true to meet you as well.
What a wonderful thing. And I love the phrase that you use, to ease burden upon myself. What a wonderful, wonderful phrase. We so appreciate you being here. Again, we want to remind people to go to YouTube and or actually to just search. You can Google search Kenny Valdivia autism, and his channel will come up on YouTube. It's a wonderful thing. We're so glad that you reached out to us and that we had an opportunity to have you on the show.
Good luck to you.
I beg your pardon?
Good luck to you.
I thought I heard you say something.
We're really glad that you were here. Really glad that you're here.
Yes.
And excited about your channel.
Yes, I would just love for my channel to keep growing, more of my dreams to keep coming true. So far, I've been able to cross certain things off my bucket list. I've made some videos regarding some of my stuff, so check out my content, and let's just help keep easing burden upon autism. And I just want to help not just my dreams come true, but other people in all 7 continents' dreams to come true as well.
Wonderful.
It would be a dream come true, especially my channel to blow up so big, because like I would love it if someone were to approach me and ask me for my autograph. That right there will really, really touch me.
I think it's just a matter of time before that happens.
So.
Thank you, Kenny, for being here.
Thank you, Kenny.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to be back to finish out the show. Stick with us.